This is the Alchemy Kitchen, and getting into late October. It's kind of my favorite time of the year. Fall begins, leaves are changing color, and a lot of things that come with this time of year that I enjoy doing: pike fishing, hunting for mushrooms, and cold smoking. So, beginning of this video, I'm just going to get right to it and show you. I've done a video in the past of my own homemade DIY cold smoke generator that worked really good, but after a while it finally rusted out. I was using it also for hot coals and the metal was kind of thin. So I made a new one. I've seen a lot of people using those cold smoke generator tubes. It looks pretty much just like this. You can buy them like average $20–30. I made this and it was super simple. This is about 1 millimeter thick. It was just flat sheet of this graded, like square holes. Any kind of material like that will work. Doesn't matter if they're square holes or diamond or whatever. Millimeter thick turned out really good because you don't need any special tools to form it, and it's also pretty sturdy. It's going to last a long time. Just don't leave it in ashes from the charcoal or wood. That's going to cause it to rust. And same with your grill. Take those out once they've cooled down. Clean it out. The ash has humidity in it, and that will rust out your grill. All right, so this is a flat sheet. What I did is I took a round metal pipe, and this is about 2.5 inches diameter, about 12 inches long, and I get almost exactly 2 hours of smoke every time I fill this. So it's kind of nice knowing those dimensions to be able to. I like to be able to get 2 hours at a time. That makes it easy to keep track when I fill it of how many hours of cold smoke I'm getting. But yeah, what I did is I took two vice grips and clamped the corners to a steel pipe, put that in a vise, and as much as I could, just by hand, bent it around. So if you get something heavier duty, that might be a little bit harder. And to close the end, I didn't, it's just bent. I didn't bother to weld it or anything. I hate the trucks on this road. So I just bent it around itself, overlapped it a little bit, and just to finally get that final round sort of shape, I just hammered it cold. You don't have to like put it in a forge or anything. And this totally does the job. What I do is I just stack it upright on a table to block the end. I probably could, it's not necessary, it worked fine. And I load the chips in and just pack them in there. I'll take a torch and hit the end for like 20 seconds, just enough to get it to light, and it'll smolder and smoke for a good 2 hours. You can use pellets. A lot of people do. I use whatever I have on hand. So I had a bag of pellets. I have a lot of these wood chips that about this size, and those work fine. They burn fine. I mix it with pellets, and I mean, if you have enough kind of bigger pieces in there, you can get away with using the dust. Like I have a bag of pellets, and the bottom that's left is just dust, so that'll fill in the gaps and stay in there pretty well. I don't have a Traeger, but I was at a thrift store and they had these on sale. These are actually alder wood. So I'm going to actually crush some of these up to make my own blend. A lot of times I use hickory mesquite, but alder is a very overlooked smoke. It's more delicate and it's got a bit of sweetness to it. Really good for things like fish. I will be doing some cold smoking, but I just wanted to first kind of just show you how this thing works. So we'll come back when I light it up. Meanwhile, I've got some soft-boiled eggs. 6.5 minutes. That's perfect timing for what I like. To boil the eggs, put them in an ice bath, peel them. You don't want to put the shell in, and those are great cold smoked. I wanted to do some quail eggs. I have about a dozen right now, but I have a friend that's hatching quail for me from my eggs, and they're just hatching, and they said they need some quail eggs. I guess they put that in with the food, like cannibals. So unfortunately, I got to bring those in to them tomorrow, so I don't have any eggs on hand for quail eggs to smoke, but chicken eggs are fine too. And I've got a big bag of roe deer jerky from what's called the Keule in German. That's the hind leg. 2 hind legs worth. I mean, I did cut some steaks out of one and eat it, but it's excellent meat, and it's been marinating for day and a half now in a vacuum sealed bag, so it should be ready. I'm going to get that on the cold smoker as well. Some cheese, and I mean, your possibilities are pretty much endless what you can cold smoke. Of course, the ambient temperature has to be low enough. If it's a bit warm, you can put a thing of ice cubes into your smoke chamber. I just usually wait till it's cold, and it doesn't have to be that cold, just not really hot, especially for things like cheese or meat that's not cured or can go bad easily, like chicken or something like that. I mean, any vegetables. I've done potatoes, paprika, bell pepper, jalapenos, all that stuff comes out really good. And I always am hearing new ideas of what to cold smoke. Everything from olives to peanuts. I've done olive oil, butter, spices, salt. Um, I can't think of much that I've done where it's like, okay, this doesn't taste good. I've heard of people using fruit. I've not tried that. Chocolate. I've not tried that. But yeah, if you have any ideas or you've tried cold smoking something I didn't mention, put it in the comments below. I'm always interested to try new things out. And with this smoker, I've got quite a bit of space. Quite a few racks in there, so I can fit quite a bit. I mean, that jerky's going to take a lot of space, but enough room to do the eggs and some cheese. And I'm going to look through the kitchen and see what else I got to throw in there while I'm at it. All right, so I got to get this prepared, cleaned up a little bit. I like to clean the grates before I cold smoke if you grilled on it, because it's going to leave black stuff on your food, which I don't care. But if I kind of trade some things with people in the hunting class or whatever context at work, so I like to keep it nice and presentable looking. So I'm going to clean off the grates, get it loaded up, and then we'll come back when I fire it up. So I got here a mix of mesquite, hickory wood chips, and those alder things for the Traeger. I actually use one of those alder to just block off the end while I fill this up. I mix it up in a bowl to get a nice blend of woods, and I'm going to load this up. Everything's loaded, ready to go. Got a lot of jerky. I don't know, I didn't weigh how many kilos. It was from 2 shoulders, though, 2 coilas. Bunch of soft-boiled eggs, potatoes. I did a couple whole, but most of them I cut in half. They're going to get more flavor that way. A whole head of garlic. I just chopped the ends like that so the smoke can get in there. Block of cheese. And some couple new things I'm going to try this time. That's going to be some ginger and some of these Steinpilz, these boletus edgeless mushrooms I picked and dehydrated. I'm not sure how those will turn out, so I'm just doing a small batch for now. But as you can see, I got it pretty full. This meat came from a coworker, a hunter, who harvested from a roe deer, and normally I like to get it pretty, like, partially frozen to slice it really thin, but I also like my jerky thick. But it was on the bone, so I had to totally thaw it out. So what I try to do is kind of, in the layers, they're varying. Some are thinner than others, some are pretty thick. So I try to put the thinner ones in the bottom and kind of keep them separated, because they're going to take longer times depending on the thickness. And the really small pieces, so I don't waste them, and just to make it faster, I put these cooling trays, these cooling racks, and that has smaller gaps between smaller gaps, basically, so they don't fall through. Good idea. And that's one thing I might do, since I got enough space, is I'm going to put some water in this pan, because this jerky is going to go for a while. It's the eggs and stuff, that's probably 4 hours for the cheese, maybe a little longer for the potatoes and garlic. And the jerky, I'm going to go for a while, so it doesn't dry out too quickly. I'm going to try putting some water in this pan. It's a method I've seen suggested. And this bowl for the mushrooms comes out convenient. It's got little holes in it, so they don't fall through the grate and still gets smoke in there. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up. We'll get it lit up and get smoking. Time to light it up. Easiest way, like I said, just get a torch, hit it for a few seconds. These are kind of bigger pieces at the end, so a few more seconds. You just want a small flame started. about like that. And just keep an eye on it for the first initial few minutes. That doesn't go out on you. You want to make sure you pack that thing full so there's no like gaps in between, because that will cause it to go out. But that's solid, and it'll go for a good 2 hours. I already get smoke, so I can go ahead and close this up. I don't want it to totally burn, so you don't want to overdo it when you light it, but that should be good when I close this. And if it keeps burning, you can kind of just blow it out so it embers and smolders. But that should be fine. I'll just keep an eye on it for a few minutes. And then, what else to do when you're waiting for the smoke to finish? Enjoy a beer. So, smoking away. It's just about down to the end. It is to the end. It's time to refill it. It went a little faster than normal. I think because I had bigger chunks in, or that alder compressed stuff burned faster. So I got maybe like an hour and a half, I believe. And I always say, like, if you're looking, it ain't cooking, but it's cold smoke, so you can look. Oh, wow. It's already getting a nice color. The meat looks friggin' awesome. Yeah, so everything, I'm going to kind of stir these up a bit, the mushrooms. Everything is going as planned. So I'm going to refill the smoking tube and let it go. Eggs, I'll probably do a little longer than 2 hours or 4 hours. Cheese, I like 4 hours for cheese. And the ginger, I'll go a little bit longer. Doesn't hurt. And it's not like it's not straight mesquite or hickory, where that alder is quite a bit more mild. I can just tell it by sitting next to the smoker and the smell. So I'll fill that up and keep going. I think once I pull some of that stuff, I'm going to just keep making use of the space. And I've got some walnuts I'll throw in there. I'll see what else I have laying around too. Cold smoke. That venison is looking awesome though. I did cure it. I did use curing salt. It's called Pulko salts in Germany. It's not like the same pink salt, but it is a curing salt. I use the equilibrium brine, where you use specific measurements. Check that out. It's like a fail-proof method. Only thing is, I did a wet one this time. Sometimes you can use a dry one. I've done both. With a wet one or a dry one, what I'll usually do is rinse it afterwards, so it's just not too salty. Then I marinate. And marinate for at least 24 hours if you vacuum seal. I like to go like 3 days. When you cure it, though, you know, it's safe to leave in the fridge longer. The longer you marinate, the better. I think this, just from the smell, it got really good flavor. Marinade was, I don't go overboard with venison because I like the flavor. I don't want to hide the flavor. Onion powder, granulated garlic. I use some fresh chopped up jalapeno, soy sauce, a little bit of oil that was flavored with ginger and lemon grass, Worcestershire sauce, and I think that was it. A little bit of sugar too, and some paprika. But all right, yeah, time to fill up the smoke tube and keep going. Beautiful day, nice day to have off. It's like, yeah, doing the hunting course is kicking my butt. It's a hard course in Germany. And so I get Monday and Wednesdays off. The rest of the days I'm doing the course and working. All right, so I let this run a few hours, I don't know, quite a few hours into the night. Went to sleep, woke up, and did another cycle of smoke. And now I've pulled everything except the jerky. And I couldn't wait. I tried the cheese. It's really good. But with cheese, the best thing to do is take some baking paper or wax paper, wrap it up, and let it sit in the fridge for at least a day or 2 days to kind of, all that flavor kind of absorbs. Then I'll vacuum seal it. And then, if you can wait like at least a week or two, that is where it will be the best. it'll store a long time. Vacuum sealed, you can even freeze it. The potatoes have a really nice color to them. Probably cook some of those tonight. The garlic took quite a bit of smoke. Smells really good. Same with the ginger. The mushrooms I'm curious to try. They're, from the smoking, it was, I guess from that water pan in there, they came out, they got a little bit damp. So I don't want to put them away yet and get them moldy. So I might just lay these out on a rack to air dry before I store them. And then finally the eggs. I already had to eat a couple of these and they're really good. You see that nice golden brown color to them. And soft boiled, I just love them that way. Smoked, that's the best way I've had boiled eggs. So what I'm doing now is just start some coal. I put like 1, 2, 3, just 8 briquettes in. I don't want to get it hot. I just want to get it kind of warm to finish drying out this jerky. It's already taken a nice color from the smoke. And the thinner pieces are starting. They're not dry yet, but they're, I mean, I've already eaten some. It's been cured, so it's deer. It's not like you're eating wild boar or something where it has to be cooked to avoid getting sick. And man, it tastes good. The seasoning came out really, really good. So I've got to go to a hunting class tonight. And I don't know. I still have some hours before I got to leave. So I'm going to just try to get this, just as it's dying down, I'll just keep adding a couple briquettes. I don't want it too hot, but just enough to start drying that meat out. And another thing you could do, I might do it if it's not done by the time I'm back home. I don't think I will. But you could just put it in the oven, turn the fan on, turn on to like lowest setting for heat, around like 50, 60 degrees Celsius. And crack the door open, put like a wooden spoon so the air gets out, the moisture gets out. And that's how I make jerky a lot of times too. It's already got the smoke flavor, so that is possible, but I'm just gonna, it's more work for me to take everything off the trays and put them in the oven, so I'm just gonna do it out on the smoker. It's not gonna rain today. I can leave this going and hopefully have some jerky ready tonight. So I'll come back after the class to maybe I'll do a follow-up, you know, after this has been going for an hour or two to see the difference, how quickly it's progressing. Those are just about, just want to get these lit a little bit better. I'll dump them in a small pile, close everything up, but let the airflow open, and just kind of add a couple briquettes once it starts to burn down. So this has been going for a couple hours now. I've been keeping it between 60 up to 70 Celsius. Just throw on coals, and I'm also putting on a little bit of birch wood. Try to keep a flame going. So you want to not let it smolder with that this method, because it's going to be more of a, you want good airflow and thin smoke. I have to go to a hunting course. I have to leave in a little while, so I'm going to kind of just add a bit more coal right before I leave. Should be done when I'm back. Take a quick peek. It's starting to look good. There was some pieces down below. This tray I moved up higher because it was getting more heat than the others. You see the ones towards the ends are, like, these are pretty much done. And I've tasted it already. It came out awesome. So, that's really good. I used a different EQ brine calculator, and it seems a bit heavy on the salt. Also, it's good though. It's not over salty. Luckily, I rinsed it after it brined. Otherwise, it would have been way too salty. And the jalapeno came out really good in it, and that soy sauce flavor. But yeah, it's really good. I like these thicker pieces. I'm probably gonna bag a few of the pieces that look like they're done up, so I can let the guy I got the deer from check it out. And now, by the time I get home, it's ready. Hopefully my girlfriend doesn't eat it all before I have any. It's quite a bit from Tukwila, but it's never enough. It never lasts more than a couple days. And it's like super hard to stop eating it. So that pretty much wraps it up. I guess when I'm back from class, I'll get it bagged up and wrap up the video. So I should have done this before, right when it was finished. With the jerky, the deer jerky, the bag was pretty much full. That's all that's left. I weighed it, it was about a kilo. I can't remember how much I started with. I didn't lose that much weight like I do with beef jerky, and what I did is I cut it a lot thicker. So there's a nice chunky piece. And it's not like, I like it like this, where it's a little bit like softer. And, you know, when you brine it, it's safe. When you store it and it's still a bit of moisture, keep it in the fridge and just put like a paper towel or something in there to absorb any extra moisture. I don't seal the bag, and it doesn't last long. I mean, I did eat quite a bit of this, but it also got shared. I took some to the hunting class, passed around a bag, and everyone's asking to buy it from me. It's hard to sell because it's too damn good. It's a lot of work too. It's very time consuming, and it's not just time. It's not that hard, but it's time consuming. You got to marinate a few days, brine it a few days, and spend all day cold smoking it, unless you use a dehydrator. So it's also kind of like, you know, you got to do it on schedule. So if you get busy in that process and you let it sit too long or whatever, you know, it is time consuming. But man, it came out really good. Just the right amount of spice to it. At first I thought it was going to be a little too salty, but it came out perfect. Just damn good. The smoked dehydrated mushrooms, the king bullets, those actually came out really good. Being in the smoker, it caused they got a little bit hydrated again, just a little bit, but it's enough where I wouldn't store them for long term because I would be afraid they get moldy. So I just put them in the oven, low setting, door cracked open, at the lowest setting with the fan on for about an hour, and that dried them back out. My girlfriend made some like rice risotto with it, and yeah, they came out really good actually. The smoke flavor worked good. I'm currently got in the slow cooker sort of like a stew from deer and some pig hearts, and that I threw in the smoked garlic and smoked potatoes. I've already used those before, and those always come out good. So yeah, that wraps this video up. And another thing I must add is I've smoked deer before using like mesquite or hickory, and deer's got the roe deer we have here, it's not as gamey as like a lot of the people complain about venison in the States. It's a very delicate flavor, so I don't like to overpower it. And mixing in that alder and using the birch wood at the end really worked well. I did use a bit of mesquite and hickory, but a pretty good blend also of the alder and birch. And the smoke flavor is really good, but not overpowering in it. I think about everyone I let try it out, or start asking me, what did you use? I get a million questions on the recipe. So next time I make some deer jerky, I'll probably do a separate video on that. I didn't keep measurements, but I remember how I do it, and I usually eyeball it anyways, except for the EQ brine, which should be very precise measurements. That's it. Thanks for watching. It's been warm, but I mean, this bag, by the way, I finished it Thursday evening, and today's Monday, so it lasted a pretty good amount of time considering how much my girlfriend gave away and how much I ate of it and how much I gave away. But yeah, this weather is starting. We're going to get some cold weather soon, where I'll be experimenting more with the cold smoke. I've got a lot of good feedback on the videos, so I'll do more of them. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Check out the links below in the description. Till next time.